Oh, hello YouTube. This is awkward. In my last video, I mentioned briefly that playing Warhammer is fun because it's basically hanging out with your mates. This though leads us into a problem. I don't like Space Marines. Oh my God! No, let me change that. I don't love Space Marines. I admit they are cool, I like them, but I don't love them. And this has got nothing to do with just a burning hatred of the fact that they tend to take Xenos army rules away and then give them to Space Marines in their next codex. I play Necrons a lot. A couple of editions ago, Living Metal was taken away, and guess what Power of the Machine Spirit was the next time that codex came up? However, I'm notoriously changeable on this subject. It only takes one flash of inspiration for me to do a complete 180 and start collecting an army. To be clear, I never said that they look like cheap Gundam rip-offs. But I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, I have two groups of friends that play Warhammer. And one of those groups all play the Horus Heresy. So, Space Marines versus Space Marines. Calm down. Now, before you start, I know there are some other factions. I think there's like Imperial Guard, maybe AdMech, Knights. Is there Knights? Can you still play as Knights? I'm sure you used to be able to play as Knights. Can you still play as Knights? I like Knights. I've got all of the Knights, so I could use them, I suppose. Anyway, I tried collecting an AdMech army once before, and I never really truly got into it. In fact, I was a bit meh about the whole thing. When it came to the Horus Heresy books, I read 4 of them. I definitely read The Flight of the Eisenstein. Is that the right title? I'm not even sure. Yeah, I definitely read a few of them, but I kind of got a bit bored of them as well. I love the story, but I love the story condensed into a neat little sort of few pages in the Warhammer 40k rulebook. That is until a while ago when I was looking on the Forge World website and I came across the model of Horus Ascending. See, I'm not a huge fan of the original Horus. He looks like he's in a musical number that he's just sort of like ran up the stairways and it's like, ah!
I'd rather just sing. Stop that. You're not going into a song while I'm here.
Yeah, he's like about to sing about how he's just met a girl or something. I don't know. It all looks a bit, well, not camp, but yeah, musical staging. I know. I've said this to my friends before and they all think that I'm talking rubbish too. But his pose is just a little off to me. Slightly awkward, doesn't quite make sense for what he's doing. Now, compare him to the Horus Ascended model. Look at him striding through a scene of utter carnage, full of purpose and vile intent. His base really emphasising the horror that he has unleashed against the galaxy. He is both literally and metaphorically walking over the corpses of the Imperium to ascend to what he thinks is his rightful position as the ruler of mankind.
It's a metaphor.
I get it.
But that actually happened, though.
Oh, I love that model. Possibly a bit too much. See, now I have inspiration, and as I said in my last video, inspiration is key. I want to paint Horus Ascended, but if I do that, I'll end up with a Horus Ascended model where I'm not quite happy with how I've painted him. He won't look quite as good as I thought he was, and then I'll lose any kind of inspiration or any kind of drive to actually paint the army that he'll be leading. So we have to buy the soldiers that will fight under him first, and I have to admit I might might have done something silly. It's not silly. It brings me joy. It brings me happiness. I'm sure it'll be brilliant. So now that I love Horus Ascended, I'm kind of like, oh, Sons of Horus. Yeah. So now then, I can get a Space Marine army that I can play against my mates, which would solve that whole problem of everyone plays a game and I don't really like any of the armies. Now I do. Yay. As I said, I'm notoriously changeable on whether I do or do not like an army. Got my Horus Heresy Age of Darkness box. Good lord, are there a lot of screws in there. It's just... yeah. Right, I guess we're just going to plod through these, aren't we? Like, look at this. It's like vaguely ridiculous. This is like the slog part of it. Once you've done this though, you've got like this whole army that you can work on. It's great. Right, so I'm building the tactical squad. And we're building these guys here. The ones with the options for the banner or the Vox. Yeah, Nuncio Vox. Nuncio Vox? Yeah, whatever it's called. I don't actually, I haven't played games of Horus Heresy in years. When it first came out, and when you could first play the Knights, because I've got loads of Forge World Knights, so I used them. So I've played a few games like that, but not for, must be like 4 years now. So I don't really know what's like good and what's not. So we're using Rule of Cool. So pretty much every option. We've got 40 Marines to make. So each of the sergeants can be armed differently, so they're each their own character. And then they're all going to have a Vox and a Vexilla, the banner. And then after that, we'll just see. As I go through, we'll just pick my favourite options, I think. And there he is, the first of the Horus Heresy Marines. You know, I really love all of this sort of like weird sort of, oh God, zoom, there we go. I love all of the little kind of ornate technical pieces that clearly they have got amazing technology. So surely an earpiece with a radio receiver is fine. Why they need all of this sort of extra bit stuck on the top. I love that about 40k generally. I love that about Warhammer generally, actually. I like having things playing in the background whilst I'm building Marines. And today it came from outer space. 50s sci-fi for the win. And now we have a standard bearer. He's so cool. You know, these bits there on the shoulders, like right there, because that's where it's attached to the sprue. It's like a real pain to get that like in focus apparently. And it's a pain to get it like neat. Curved ball joints that have a bit sticking off them. It's just, it's a pain in the butt. GW, we love you, but please stop doing that. I don't know if I'm just weird, but like when I'm building, and I'm building like a large number of models, so I build an army, so I get like all of these, so I'm going to make these guys. So I get all of them, and I make these little sort of piles of all the stuff I need for like each dude. And then sort of build it one step at a time once they've all been cut out. Right, is that weird? Does everybody else do it like that? Oh no, the traitor Astartes are coming. Don't worry, he's armless. So I ummed and ahed about the fist. Also, he is doing a little bit of a jazz hands pose. Not the greatest, but you know, there we go. I didn't really enjoy building the Contemptor, I'll be honest. But I was in a bit of a quandary as to whether go stubby hands or pointy hands, because you have these here. Where are they? Where have they gone? There, right. So yeah, like stubby hands there, just like the thumb, like that. You could have all of them like that, but I'm like, Sons of Horus, we're going evil. So evil means like spiky things, doesn't it? So I have built a total of 4 Contemptors in my lifetime. And I have not really enjoyed building any of them. I don't know what it is about this kit. I don't think it's great. I think I posed that one better than this one. But there we are. I think this is the only one that I really love. I glue the moving parts. I never ever leave the doors to open. I don't see the point of it. Like, this is so bizarre. Like, you have to build the whole thing just to hold it together. It just won't hold. And this bit down here, like, that's just a pain in the ass. So I always like to have a guy sticking out of the top of the tank if there's an option. Like with his shoulder pads not being able to fit through the hole, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But it just adds so much story to what's going on. So like if his head is looking straight down the gun, it implies he's in the heat of battle. So like the gun doesn't need to be facing directly forward, obviously, because we've got the guns displayed here. They're picking out different targets, right? But if he's looking down the barrel of the gun, then he's probably aiming at something. Whereas if you want to have it like look more like it's sort of cruising, then you can have the gun pointed. It's gluing, so I'm not going to move it. But if you have the gun pointed to the side, clearly not anywhere near where the other guns are aiming, and then you change his head to be looking where they're going. Or if you have the gun pointed forward and then turn his head so that he's looking at something over here, that way it shows that he's less focused. He's more sort of taking in sort of or he's scanning the area to see if there's sort of like any threats or anything. So just that little head movement there and the gun placement there gives your model so much story, so much more like, it makes it more like it makes it more like a diorama, because it's telling a story rather than it just being a playing piece. So the army is built. I better get painting. I'm sure I'll get them done very, very quickly. Yeah, I've said that before.
I think he got more stuff. What have you got there?
Nothing.
I thought you hated Space Marines.
They're not Space Marines. I don't like their shiny goodness. I don't like things that are popular. I'm edgy and cool. And I'm down with the kids on the interwebs and the TikToks.
Okay.
I love you. I love you.
Daddy!
Hey, don't get out of